The voice is also, it's training me. I've noticed that the voice is training me, and the voice is training you. I'll give you some examples of what I mean. I mean, there's like there's something in the future that it's really going to be important that I obey the voice. Like I'll be in a house and it's dark, and wife's already asleep, and I forgot to get the mail, so I, you know, yard's 100 feet wide, and the house is 100 feet back from the house and or from the street, and I got to go out the mailbox, and I get over the door and it says, "Lock the door." And and then you start. I got to go back and get the key anyway. But no, I listen to the voice. So I go back and I get the keys, and I lock the door and I go to the mailbox. And you can imagine there's all kinds of things. Why? This is just right around the hedge, or the boogeyman might have been there. And let's say I go out and get about halfway to the mailbox, or whatever. The boogeyman jumps in the house and locks the door. It would take me forever to get into that house through that security screen. I'd have to throw a chair through one. It would take me forever to get in the house. So it's the voice is always telling me things. I could instance after instance. A lot of time. I wish I could remember them all. I hit them all the time, and I listen to them because they're like I'll come home from work and I like to back in, so and it'll say don't back in. So I just pulling forward. I don't back in. Maybe it's training me that someday there might be a little kid come crawling out, a little toddler might crawl out from underneath something out of my view, and I could back over them. Maybe the Lord's preparing me for, way down the road it'll say don't back in. So I'll pull in straight and I'll see the little toddler crawl out from under a bush or whatever, the voice is training us. So even no matter how inconvenient is what I'm more or less saying, because every time the voice telling me to do this or that I kind of like, well, it's inconvenient to go get this first before I go do that, it's just a lot of minor things. I wish I'd have taken the time to write out. And I bet I could write down 100 other things that I could say, well, it would be because of this. It would be because of this. This would happen if I don't do this. This would happen if I don't do this. But most time it's just something simple. But the voice says, do it. And just like this, doing this video, I was supposed to write all this down. But the voice said, you're taking too long. You guys are supposed to be giving me stories, and you don't have any of your stories. And I got 100 of them to tell. So, the voice just said, because I had to come up here earlier, and the voice said, do your videos. So I throw my video stuff, in the car. And every weekend, I come up here every other week and stay a weekend with her. And every week the voice tells me to take along your video stuff. And so this day I did take along, so I made the video, The 10 other times the video just stood over there and leaned up in the corner. But this time it got used, so, the voice is preparing us for events in the future that are going to be very important. So no matter how inconvenient it is, the voice is training us. We're being trained by the voice to obey it. Because there's going to be times when it's going to be a very serious thing going on that will be prevented by listening to the voice. So we're being trained. So just like you went to school or you went to whatever, trade school or whatever, you know. We're being trained by this voice. So let's always obey it. And that's not going to say go up on a roof and scream or climb to the top of the tree and see how far you can pee out. Or it's not going to be telling us things like that. It's just going to be telling us things to get us used to listening, obeying. Not only listening, but obeying. Yeah, obeying the voice, listening to the voice. So, you can see by the stories in the first voice story, you know, imagine my buddy if he didn't pay attention to that voice. And right today now, there's a couple of kids about probably 10 years younger than me. They're grown-ups with their families living who knows where. And maybe they're even listening to that, they even listened to that video. And they thought, oh my goodness, we lived there in those. We lived about 10 miles from there. I can remember we used to go in that freight yard and play all the time. You know, you never know. So, we're being trained, so obey the training. You know, it's going to be to our good. You know, the one that looks out for us has only our good in mind. You know, we wouldn't give our kid a rock if they wanted a piece of bread to eat. We wouldn't give them a snake if they wanted a toy to play with. You know, listen to that voice. Listen to the training. Be trained. Allow yourself to be trained. There's a train a-coming. There's a voice train a-coming. There's a voice train a-coming. Coming here at you. Listen to that voice. It'll keep you out of trouble. Labba-dabba, labba-dabba, labba-dabba-doo.